Raj, who's here from the Samudbhava Foundation in Coimbatore. It is my pleasure to introduce him as a guest at the KYM. This was quite a chance event that we set up because I have been a fairly ardent follower of Sri Shibiraj on his social media handles. He's a remarkable artist and has been working on a project. The project is yet to come out because they are awaiting funds. It's a project of a completely illustrated encyclopedia of Indian history. And he's one of the most exceptional artists and artwork that I have seen, where they're attempting to recreate our past through the art. And so that is how we started interacting online. And then he had mentioned that he's going to be in Chennai. So I reached out and said, would you like to just visit us for a talk? That's how this happened. I'll just quickly introduce Shri Shibiraj to you. He has a electronics and instrumentation engineering background. Subsequently, has a master's in space science, technology, robotics, and automation, and worked as a space control engineer in the Center for Telemetry in Germany. He is an astrophysicist and on the faculty of astronomy in Würzburg, Germany, between 16 and 18, after which he has moved back to India. And his current work is as a historian, a designer of history and culture syllabus for various universities, and also is the founder of Samudbhava Foundation, which is has the vision of bringing India's culture, history, and heritage in a colorful manner to the youth of India. Charanya Vago, please. You're also welcome to come up to the front. And he is working on Illustrated India, a magnum opus encyclopedia of Indian history as visuals. He is also volunteering with the Isha Foundation in the Isha Leadership Academy. He's been associated for a number of years now, designing the syllabus on Indian history, heritage, and culture. And is also currently a research coordinator for the Free Tamil Temples movement as well. So there are a number of areas that Shri Shibiraj is working on. Welcome, sir. Thank you for accepting the
Can you recognize which temple is this? Yes. And that's the only place these days they allow you to take picture, and that too they will take the picture there, and you're not allowed to take photography. So it's also a glimpse of our past. So be with me for the upcoming 1 hour, and let's go to ancient India. It's like a time machine, but inside a hall. Okay, you cannot see the time machine. That is with me. You travel with me, and let me take you to the 5,000 years of Indian cities, and even beyond that. Can you hear me at the back? And even beyond that, to 10,000 and 12,000 years before, from the beginning of Indian civilization. I tell you my story. See, me who is coming from a small town, going to Germany, from there falling to Würzburg. It was such a huge feat for me to go there and experience life outside of India. And there you have this, my course is very, it's a dual masters, and therefore I had people from across the world, 2 from USA and 2 from Argentina, 2 from Mexico. It was like that. Africa, from 4 corners of Africa, we had 4 people. It was like that. So in the evening setup, we used to discuss about what is your culture. It might look very superficial for us when we discuss about why you have these simple things. But when you interact with other people, it's called cross-cultural interactions. When you discuss with other people why you have Hindi, why do you, what is this easy to snow, you put this to there. So is it toothpaste? Is it, you have something like that. Then you actually start to think about why is it that you are supposed to have it. Many things we take for granted, but only when you are questioned in a setup that is not a situation that you are used to, only then you start to think about the deeper aspects of Indian civilization. Second thing is this mentality that okay, history of the past, how does it matter? Who cares? And let me see what is what is there on our plate right now. Why do we have to dig up the past? No, no, no. It's not quite so. When even recently, see, it's been 76 years. Recent means for a civilization that is 8,000, 9,000 years. Recent means in this 100, 200 years. People tend to claim, one entire segment of in India and also of the world, starting from the British period also. Karl Marx and other people, they have this idea that India as a nation formed only very recently, and it was not so. From the past, what was there is only a sort of forceful association of warring tribes, warring groups. So if this is the understanding of common understanding of India and Indian history right now that we have, we really get actually clueless about our own current identity. Just like I said about the Vibhuti and the basic thing. These are very simple, but obviously you are great yogis, learning deeper aspects of yoga. You know about the deeper things that the culture and the science of yoga has offered to us. But only when we know about our past, we can we get some basic understanding of our present. Then we can do something about our future. We can control to some extent how our future we want to be. Only when you know about your family situation, you can plan whatever you want to do in the future, right? Same way, only when you know about India, not about this 100 years, for the past 6,000, 7,000 years, only when you understand, when you have some basic things, you may be a corporate person, you may be a school student, you may be a teacher, whatever it is. Only when you take some aspect of ancient Indian history within you, you can do something about it for the future, for the people who are in touch around you. So, in that sense, history is quite important. See, a culture or a nation is just an idea. Okay, it's not the map is nobody has given. We made all of these things. But only when we attach some pride to it, it burns through our minds and it burns through our hearts. Then we can protect it, rise it, keep it clean, keep it wonderful. If there is no pride attached to it, provided we have innumerable number of things to feel proud of, then how are we going to protect it and keep it clean and keep it all this Soni Kichdiya, Bharat, Mahan, all of those things will only be in the stage top. We cannot do anything beyond all this weekend gatherings. This culture of seekers, seeking what? Seeking liberations. Why is that we seek liberation? All this, the yoga and whatever that we do in terms of our spirituality and our inner well-being is towards moksha, right? Towards mukti. Mukti means liberation, right? This liberation from what? Liberation from our limitations, liberation from our ignorance, and liberation from our own compulsive nature because of our evolution from the evolution from our primate ancestors. This understanding of liberation led us towards this seeking for mukti. And this scientific process, this cultural understanding, this framework of the cultural atmosphere, which facilitates towards this seeking towards liberation, is called Bharatiya Samskriti. Samskriti is a word we tend to understand it as culture these days, but when you look at the word Sanskriti, Sam plus Kriti, Sam means equanimous, Sama, equanimous, and this equanimous would lead us to have a life of balance, and that life of balance will give us exuberance because you can be a little bit more adventurous about your own life, right? See, all the time when you are too busy in managing this and that, you cannot really explore other aspects of life. Only because we have made other aspects of life a little bit balanced in terms of our professional life, personal life, all of those things, you are exploring a little bit about yoga these days, correct? Same way, our life process itself, if we have a little bit of balance, then we can explore whatever that life has to offer beyond our survival. Then this exuberance leads to well-being. Only then you can call your life as a fulfilled life. Correct. All the time, if you are busy only with the survival process, no music, no yoga, this and that. Many people are unfortunately are not like that. Their life is going only around survival and glorification of survival. But this idea of Bharatiya Sanskriti is clearly about making a human life a full-fledged one, making a human life worth living, making a human life as a blessing for the rest of the other lives, not the non-human lives as well around us. With this understanding, our past, our ancestors have made stellar examples in their own fields. Mother India has produced phenomenal human beings whose presence are a blessing to the world in myriad of fields, from architecture to shipbuilding to temple construction to mathematics, science, chemistry, and whatnot. We will look after one by one what we are going to see about the Indian knowledge systems, the contributions of our ancestors in many fields. See, before that, there is this idea called the India we just had discussed now, that India as a nation didn't exist. All those whatever that was there before 1947 is just a forceful amalgamation of warring tribes. This has been so deep into our minds, and this modern day understanding. You ask my friends there, preparing UPSC. I have juniors who are preparing for UPSC, and their understanding of India is so Aryans invaded and gave us horses and Sanskrit. Then Greeks invaded us, and they gave us mathematics and astronomy. Then, of course, our beloved Mughals invaded, and they gave us biryani, of course, the greatest profound contribution. The biryani and what else? Certain of logic and things like that. Then English invaded us, and they gave us railways and cricket, of course. Then another country, USA, maybe might invade us in the future. We also need some freedom according to them, and they might give us freedom. Human rights. This is the understanding. People have some basic understanding of all of these things. What are that's happening? We know, but this is the reality. In UPSC, many other places, this is how they see India is it so? Vishnu Purana, for example, Vishnu Purana might be at the minimum, it would be 2000 years old. It was a living text once. It has been continuously edited and re-edited at least by 100 CE, 200 CE. CE and BCE, right? CE means Common Era, which means this we are 2023 CE, right? So, and BCE means what that was there before that. This is for simpler understanding of timeline. The country that lies north of the ocean, is the board visible? Is the screen visible? The country that lies north of the ocean and south of the snowy mountains is called Bharata. This is the definition. The word Bharata is already existing in the Vishnu Purana, and Vishnu Purana is already giving the definition of what is Bharata. Beyond that, we had this organic cultural implications by many number of sages and seers. We don't know their names. Nobody knew who created all this, the Char Dhams, who created the Tirthyatra for the Shakti Pitas, who created the Tirthyatras for the Jyotirlingas. We don't know, but some genius minds have been working for at least 3,000, 4,000 years to integrate the Indian geography that we are living. And then in terms of Tirthas and other holy sites, see, this is what that created India, and nobody created India now. That this idea of even the word India, this is from we have the word Hindustan. This is from Darius I, and he is 400 BC, I think. The Syrian, the Pakistan of those times. People from Iran, Iraq, those the Assyrian king, Darius. In his inscription, the word Hindu has been written there. And yes, it is a geographical identity, but then also, when the new people came, and that geographical identity became our cultural identity also. And Shakti Peethas, for example. You know the story, right? The Dakshayajna, where Parvati Sati is self-immolated and Shiva carried her and basically walked across India. According to different stories, he did the Tandava. Another version is basically you get this from Shiva Purana. And also in Tantric texts like Pita Nirnaya Tantra, this is the prologue of the text that how Shiva took the corpse of Sati and walked across India and Vishnu seeing this, because Shiva was going in such a rage that the universe might get destroyed. But for Shiva, one or two universe more or less, it doesn't matter whether it gets destroyed or not. But when the rest of the other people pleaded, Vishnu came and used his Sudarshana and cut the body of Sati into 51 parts. And this 51 parts fell across India, basically all the way from Pakistan to Sri Lanka and Tibet and Eastern India. There is a cluster. These are the places where Sati's body parts fell. The Brahmarandra of Sati fell in a place called Himlaj in Balochistan. So there is a constellation of Hindus over there in Balochistan. The hair ringlets of Devi Sati fell in Mysore, Chamundi. Her anklets fell in Sri Lanka. So technically, how our ancient Indians conceptualized the geography of India as the body of Mother Sati. So every step you walk on this land is you are walking on the Divine Mother herself. And that is the understanding. It is very beautiful imagery given by the Puranas. That see, all these people would immediately question, how do you know whether it was there? That's not the point. That's secondary to the point. But the point is whether it actually happened or not. That we can only discover by sitting in tapasya. That may happen or may not happen. But was it a cultural truth in the minds of Indians, in the collective consciousness of Indians for the past at least 2000 years? Yes. Do we have evidence for the pilgrimage that has happened? Yes. And those pilgrimages were the places where people would exchange knowledge, ideas, and manuscripts. People, these days you park your car right in front of Kamachi temple, and then you go and everything you can do from Coimbatore to Kanchipuram. You go in the morning, you come. It was not like this in those times. People would stay there, experience the place, stay there for a long time, probably take up mandala sadhana over there, and that's the time when people have exchanged their ideas of many kinds. The entire India, probably what we know here, the people over there in the north, they might not know, and vice versa. So people exchange their knowledge in science, mathematics, and astronomy, philosophy, all the darshanas. Some of you might be learning darshanas, right? See, that's how this is what that made India as it is, as we see. Also, it's not just about this cultural organic thing. Yes, there was also political boundaries. You must be knowing Chandragupta Maurya, right? So this after this Chandrayaan landing, we have the Vikram rover has the Mauryan thing, Ashoka's emblem in one of its the print. So this Ashoka's grandfather Chandragupta Maurya, and these three kings have made a lot of political campaigns as well before they took up for Chandragupta, before he took up sannyasa in the Jain tradition. Until then, he was all in this extensive military campaign, and even in those times, I'm saying about like 2400 years before, India, they practically united India except for south and here and there. That's for practical reasons. You have Dandakaranya forest in the middle. You cannot really go. There's no point in going after that. So politically, also India was united at one time. It's not just the British united India. So this is told by one of our great men that India has produced. I will tell who he is next. India has, for ages past, has been a country of pilgrimages. All over the country, you find these ancient places from Badrinath, Kedarnath, and Amarnath, high up in the snowy Himalayas in the north, down to Kanyakumari in the south. What has drawn our people from the south to the north and from the north to the south to these great pilgrimages? It is the feeling of one country and one culture. But in present context, this might look very saffron, very Sangi type thing, very Hindu fascist thing that really destroys the secular fabric of India, because India is defined by pilgrimages, which some other people would not feel they are included in it, and they feel that they are secular, that they are unwelcome in India. But let's see who is that great person who has told. So the darling of our left, the first Prime Minister of India, it is he who told this in when the Congress Committee's Madurai session happened, and Sisturi was a Prime Minister then, and it is he who told that. Okay, so next. Also Mahabharata. See, besides this pilgrimages and Tirthayatras and the organic unification of Indian geography, also besides the political integration of India's geography, the text, the Ramayana and Mahabharata played immense role in it to an extent. All the so-called tribal culture, this word Adivasi, this may sound a very Sanskrit word. Anything Sanskrit, we always equate it to something ancient. This word wasn't existing back then. This is a newly created word to somehow segregate the people living in the cities and towns and the people in the forests and the mountain foothills. Mahabharata lists more than 363 tribes, janas it's called, groups of people. Mahabharata doesn't distinguish anything like tribes and non-tribes. Every janas, 360 janas, and each jana has multiple different jatis, which are professional unions that have become endogamic by the time of Gupta, a little bit before Gupta, maybe Shunga, era, just 2000 years before. Shunga kings came after Maurya. Maurya kings were 2300 years before, for an approximate understanding by you. I hope you are following. It's too much of the numbers and years. I hope it's not confusing. Nehruji says that everywhere I found in the story of India, the old epics of India, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and other books in popular translations and paraphrases were widely known among the masses. And every incident and story and moral in them was engraved on the popular mind and gave a richness and content to it. Illiterate villagers could know hundreds of verses by heart, and their conversation would be full of references to them or to some story with a moral enshrined in some old classic. You don't have to listen to Nehru, but you all know within your families. Remember your grandfather, my great grandfather, I have heard that he used to sit in the veranda and sing this Kambaraman full sound, and he was trying to add some music to it or something. You might have heard this thing. Chola kings have identified themselves in the lineage of the Raghukula, the Surya dynasty, and also, for example, the Chandravanshi kings, Shibi Maharaja, the other generous one, not me. So his name, we see the references of Shibi Maharaja in Purananuru, classical Tamil text, and in Kurundogai. And also, that is like, very 2,300 years before. Not only that, have you watched that Queen Salman? Yeah. Who is that, the Queen Mother, the great grandmother? Anybody know the name? Sembian Mahadevi. What is the name Sembian? This word Sembian is a Tamil version of the word Shibi. Shibi became Sembian in the Tamil understanding, and she was an architect. So this connection of Mahabharata and Ramayana with historical things, and for whatever reason, we don't know whether it was actually that way, or whether to say that we have ruled like them, or whatever, for whatever reason. But this cultural understanding of Ramayana and Mahabharata across India throughout the time, we know from inscriptions, we know from temple architecture, even the remotest tribes in Meghalaya, in Kashmir, we have examples. The Irula tribals in Uti, I come from Kanadu, Uti has the Irula tribals. They have a hero stone worshipping. In the hero stone, when somebody brave passed away, they put up this hero stone. There, in those stones, normally there is a hero, but there, that shrine is taking care of the tribals themselves. You have the Pancha Pandavas in their hero stone. That's quite amazing, how, remotest part of Tamil Nadu where nobody has, other probably before the British, when they started this tea plantations. That was the nature of, connection that has happened because of our Itihas. Next. When we will come to Coimbatore, I mean, it's, Coimbatore, Chennai in modern days is as beautiful as beauty can be. But one point about the Mahabharata, remember, like 20 years before, when the B.R. Chopra, 20, 30 years before, B.R. Chopra, Mahabharata came, the entire country came to standstill on Sundays. You notice where there are only few channels. It's not only about the pause that it integrated, the moment, the Mahabharata moment has been recreated recently during the Chandrayaan moment when the Pune station, I think somebody might have seen this, the people are missing the train and they are seeing the landing of Chandrayaan the same way. When Mahabharata telecasted, the railways had to cancel the Sunday trains because the Mahabharata fever was there on Sundays. That was the power of Mahabharata. So yes, this is the place I come from. This is the place I studied. Coimbatore is where I come from. And this is Würzburg, this is in southern Germany, Bavaria, where the BMW cars are manufactured. We see the difference in terms of city beautification and city architecture, which is a drastic difference, right, between Chennai and let's say Berlin or any European, Western European nations. But was India always like this? Was India always like this? Let's go in the past and let's see how our cities were. And those great minds of India that Mother Bharati has produced, let's see what they have made. This is Lothal. You all know about Lothal? I mean, so Lothal is this is probably from the matured Indus cities. We call the civilization as Hindu Saraswati civilization after the discovery of river Saraswati, like 20 years before or even before that. So the people of those, the Harappan people, the local people, they had dogs. You know what is a dog, right? Dog is a very popular ship. They had extensive trade links with the other contemporary civilizations, Mesopotamia and Egypt, and therefore they diverted the water channels, whatever the natural water channel of the river, and they connected it with the city. So where the ships can come and park over there, and the goods can get exchanged. These are very planned cities. I'm speaking 5,000 years before. Now, after independence, how many cities we planned? One. Chandigarh, yes. And after these many years of gap, the smart city is happening. But meanwhile, the population is big. We have hundreds of challenges. But imagine, 5,000 years before, they had their own challenges, but they still planned cities well. This is Dholavira. This Kutch region of Gujarat. Anybody from Gujarat here? No. So even today, nobody is living there. It's not just villages of the very tiny hamlets and making some salt extraction kind of small business thing, and nothing is happening actually over there. This is a city, Dholavira, that was there in the Kutch region. Even then, it was very dry. Because of by the time Saraswati was already dry, and all the tributaries were kind of changing because of climatic reasons. We don't go much into the climate reasons now. But they had 1/3 of the cities, which is like 16 reservoirs. So these are all reservoirs. We could sort of pointer I can use no way. Okay. So this thing, these are all. Can you see the blue thing around it? And so those are all reservoirs to collect rainwaters over there. Those are some of them are rocket reservoirs, and that is still functioning. That is there the reservoir. And you have secondary reservoirs beneath that when that part gets dried up. Such a city lived without any dependence of any other water other than this was 700 years. And these cities were largely peaceful. Now we know what's happening in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, fight after fight. Such cities, we also don't see any evidence of warfare. It's largely peaceful. Here and there, something we see some evidence of fractured bones due to some violence. But generally, Unlike other civilizations, Mesopotamia, Greece, and so on, where they glorified wars, and war was a big thing in their cultural memories. It was not there. Here and there, yes, Mahabharata was there, but what archaeology says, it was not like it's largely a peaceful society. Next. This is a map from Mohenjo-daro movie. Okay, so I find it. They made this map very well made. Whether they made the movie well or not, that's not for them. But no, the movie specs are quite good. No, I looked in frame after frame. I saw how they made the Mohenjo-daro production. The studio said that was quite good. And such a city, this on the back, the person you see on the top right corner. Such a city had a population of more than 40,000 people at its peak during the ritual phase. And for such a population to survive, you need obviously hygiene, else because the entire city will be wiped out from some unknown disease. You need water supply. Almost every house had a well. Every house had a toilet, bathroom. Even one bedroom house, very in the corner, farthest corner from the main areas, that also had a bathroom. All this water, the channels have been connected using baked bricks, and this is one of the largest civilizations from this end Ganga to the other end was going, until the borders of Iran and the other side Afghanistan. It covers millions of kilometers in those regions. But the bricks, the weight system, and the town planning, the ratios of the length and width of the cities, we can't go into the details of it. But the standardization that's very visible. That means they definitely had trade links and many other peaceful interactions between individual cities. That didn't come up just like that. We know only up to these cities. We don't know what was there even before that. That resulted in this cultural knowledge to create such mega cities back then. Next. This is a view. You see all the big brick buildings. So we also have 2-story, 3-story buildings. Another thing is about the nice thing about the Indus roads of 5,000 years before, there was no encroachment. Sadly, with all this knowledge of engineering and architecture and everything, we still could not find ways to stop this encroachment. The roads, it's not just about making the roads, but also there were this public committee, some sort of some republic style of governance was there. Some the Vedic texts. People don't agree, those are contemporary Vedic and this thing, because those people who don't agree are those people who got their PhDs based on the idea that those are two different things, which is the Vedic culture and the Indus Valley culture, the Indus Saraswati culture. But the evidence one after the other tends to point out towards that direction, that what is told in the Vedic period is roughly the same period as the Indus Valley, probably a little bit later. The Indus Valley period is a little bit later. Next. So this great bath in Mohenjo-daro, this thing you must have seen everywhere, right, in your childhood. But let's see how it used to be. Next. So this was how, like in approximately maybe 70% accuracy. This is from somebody who's doing archaeological illustrations, just like me. But for other civilizations, they do scanty visuals for India. But I've taken something from there. Because they had bathrooms and toilets in every house, so this great bath is understood that till that point people thought that it's like the great bath of the Greeks. Why did the Greeks have such great baths? Because they didn't have this culture of taking shower, this Saucham Snanam every day in the morning. That was not there. Before you do sadhana, you do Saucham Snanam Pasmadharanam. That was not there, and therefore you glorified this. Public bath, and later the stories we get to know how dirty and ugly those public baths are. We don't have to belittle other civilization, other culture, but we also get to see what the truth was. So these were used some sort of the ritual pond, the temple pond. We go there, we take a dip over there before entering the temple. Next, Bollywood obviously. So. One thing is, in the movie they showed all of these things quite okay, except for this too much cloth for the Bollywood thing, obviously, for the movie reasons. You see the white thing over there, right, above the water. So though that pond has been made waterproof, that means the understanding of using lime plasters to cover any waterproof that was there back then, we still see there. the coating. Such coatings they have also used in their ships, because when they're going far away and the water shouldn't come inside the boats, because they will travel like 40 days at a time. Next. The drainage thing, all the standardization of brick sizes, that means there is a brick making industry back then. These are, you already know, but we go to area that is next. So these are all okay, but then what happened during the second phase of the urbanization? Next. We had huge cities like Patliputra. A city looked like this. We had mechanically operated ramps over there, which you can cover it and uncover it whenever you feel like. So Arthashastra and many other texts that speaks about the mechanically operated ramps through which people can come inside, and this is the entrance gate. You have this customs and the security and other things there, and that is the fort. Next. So this is my sketch about how ancient Madurai used to look like. This was how Madurai was back at the time when Kannaki came to Madurai from Puhar. You know Chilambari, right? So that was how Madurai used to be. It's called the Padmaka Mandala. Padmaka means lotus, right? Padmaka Mandala. But so look at the description in Paribad. Mayon to pool Malanda, Amari pool Purim Siru, moving Idalagat, Anayanirvam, Idalagat, Aramputi, and then Movil. So the central sea vessel is the place where the temple was. That is temple, Meenakshi temple. But in the Tirupati itself, we don't get the evidence of Meenakshi temple, but the other texts, Paribadal and other places we get to see. And the people are like the pollen grains that's there in the flower, and the poets are like the bees that come and take the essence of the flower. And that the city walls were like that. The Vaigai river probably on the banks of river Vaigai. Next. This lotus is not just a mini random lotus. This is the lotus that came from the Navi, the navel of Vishnu, right? And so the idea of ancient Indians is like the city should. It's not just about an engineering marvel. It should be aesthetically pleasing, not just for humans. With the gods look from above. Anybody played a game of Age of Empires? Caesar 1, 2. So you know how you design a city. So even for the gods, so when the gods were the game players of Age of Empires, when they look down about our cities, that should be aesthetically pleasing to them. How else will get the blessings of them? This is one. I don't know how much, whether you can see it. We are reconstructing a city as told in Arthashastra. All those other things I will soon launch the color version of it. My artist is working. Next. So these are from the Shilpa Shastra texts about the very many designs, how you can build efficient cities. It's not just about engineering efficiency where you can have equal share of access to access everywhere. It's also about aesthetically pleasing idea. Next. These texts we have at least from 3rd century or even before that. Okay, so this is some Chinese thing, but to give you some understanding how ancient Ujjain looked like. Ujjain is a pentagonal shaped city. Puri is a Shanku, conch shaped city. And at the center of the Ujjain, center of the city, you have the Mahakaleshwar temple. And that line, if you imagine a straight line over there, that line intersected with Tropic of Cancer at that midpoint. And at that midpoint is the place where Mahakaleshwar temple is there. And that is why he is called Kaleshwar, the Lord of Time. Because that is the zero meridian. Now, how many hours we are away from zero meridian? Now it is in Greenwich, you know that, right? The Greenwich meridian. We are like 5.5 hours away from that. But initially, when the ancient astronomers calculated it, zero meridian, obviously when we are here, we put our line as our, the meridian. It was like that back then. Thanks. The buildings, all the time when the historians write, ancient India means always, some yogi will be sitting in calendar tech yogi. In background, you see the 2 huts. I don't know why always, ancient India means that hut architecture. It's not so. We have references to Jataka tales where a potter had this 13-story building. In Rome and also in classical India, the upper stories have always been meant for renting. Now, in Western Tamil Nadu, the understanding is the house owner has to be above the tenant, so they go there and the whole couple cannot come down because of this idea. But we had some beautiful buildings that is called the horseshoe shaped window, the rafter window. That's called gavaksha. Gava means cow, or in Tamil it's called Manpan. Kaladar means window. Gavaksha windows, Gavaksha cow's eyes windows. Windows were like that back then. Next. One of the city entrances. Next. This is a map that I created when I was very bored with the while I was reading Silappatikaram. This is the hometown of Kannagi. Kannagi, you all know the story, you all know. But this is the city that she came from. It's enough approximation. This is the Bay of Bengal. We have the lighthouse. We had lighthouses back then. In Pune also, you might have seen the Chola lighthouse. So, who are the fathers of Kannagi and Govana? Yeah, but what did they do? Who are they? Trader. One is a ship manufacturer. Ship, sometimes they sell it, sometimes they give the ships for rent. Another is the long overseas traveler. So, Kannagi's father would go for 40, 50 days because those are all air powered. The ships have to move in the direction whenever the wind comes, and you have the gear system to adjust accordingly. So, such was the cities, they went out and brought wealth and money, whatnot. See, this I am speaking at least the Silappatikaram text we know is 4th century, but the story itself, as Anango says, that is from even before period. The Karikala Chola, people have estimated this period as 1st century, 2nd century CE. This is the time. These are all when Rome was at its peak. And why Rome was at its peak? Because wealth from here went there. It's not some this jingoism, Indian pride or anything. We have evidences, both old evidences and new evidences. That the Roman scholars are saying the wealth of our wealth are getting drained because of this luxury taste of the Roman ladies. I mean, I'm sorry, as the record was, the spices, every time spice means people take to say some mirchi, this garam masala kind of thing. No. Spice means beyond medicine stuff, all this curated medicines, the jars of the jars. How they preserved, for example, fruits, fruit drying and many other things, mango. If you want to travel 40 days, you cannot have fresh mango besides drying. They had refrigerating systems inside the ship. We can't go all of these things today. Next. This way of modern green color in this is one of my favorite quotes from Silappatikaram. That terrace, way of modern means terrace, uncovered terraces. Nobody knew why everything was so big. The Greek people who came to India to do Greek, Yamana means all those other people, the Western, which includes the Iran, Iraq, Mesopotamia, Mediterranean, all those people are called as Yamana. In that one segment is called as the Roman. So these Yamana people, they had their mansions here, they had their temples here in Puvar and Madurai. Obviously, when you're away from your place for 3 months, because the next they can go back only when the next monsoon goes. That is like around 3-4 months, so they have to stay there. That's how cross-cultural interactions happen, and largely in favor of India in terms of wealth and in terms of knowledge. India contributed a lot to all these interactions. Next. This is one visual of Silappatikaram, the Pumpar towns, the market square. There is this Bhuta Shatakam. People who do their offerings over there. This is some French painting. Next. This is an example of a mansion type house back then. It's like something like a temple back then. There is also multi-story buildings depicted in Sanchi Stupa, which is 2,200 years before. You see the rafter windows over there. Bamboo has been bent and then covered with plaster. So that had lifespan of 60 years or so, and then it's like generational thing. People will rebuild one after the other. Next, they renovate everything as it is. And so now we know about how engineering drawings would look like. Let's see how it was. Next. That is called Pattachitra. That's quite famous in Odisha. You people must be knowing Pattachitra. That is how they made like chart like thing. They attach one palm leaf after the other. We get to see only Ganesha there, but this is from the engineering drawing of Konark temple. And each palm leaf, they had the different sections of the temple. You also had the top view, side view, and other mansions similar to this. Next. And that's how they built this huge structures. It was not that nobody had engineering somehow. Another thing is this aliens, because anything that is great from India, always it has to be aliens. And because Indians inherently don't have the capability, according to them, to build anything great. We have evidence after evidence in front of our eyes, but we still happen to get this YouTube and the modern day plague, reels, Instagram reels. It's filled with all this, aliens built India. Next. Due to engineering reasons, the other structure got collapsed. That's called Rekha, I think. This is Rekha. This is there. The dual got collapsed. Next. This is that's the asana on which Gautama Buddha attained his enlightenment. Around which 300 years later, Ashoka built this octagonal structure. Can you see the octagonal structure there? The Bodhi tree is there. Next. This is our team. We reconstructed it for the Illustrated Encyclopedia project. Next. Aryabhatta. That's from anybody been to Akshardham? Akshardham is in Delhi. It had a display of India's cultural heritage and knowledge systems. So Acharya Aryabhatta is teaching to the students about mathematics and astronomy. You know about the number 108, right? We do all the Ashta Uttara Sadra Namavadi and all the other things. One thing about yoga, the inner science for which India is the fountainhead, is we align everything with the cosmic geometry, and this 108 is because the diameter of the sun and the distance between the earth and the sun, it is 108 times the diameter of the sun, and same with the moon, and same with the earth and the sun. Sorry, earth and the sun. Yes. So the diameter of earth into 108 times is the distance between earth and sun. This has been there in the cultural understanding, and next. All these deeper aspects of astronomy, these were all in Sanskrit, and after the invasions have happened around 12th, 13th century, all these things have came towards south. So the astronomy and Indian mathematics, they all happened after the invasions from southern states. This is our painting from the Illustrated India project. So let's say Varan Migra looking at the sun, that's not a telescope. No, it is not. That's not a lens. It is called Yasti Yantra. He measures you have the palaka over there, which has markings to see the angular distance between two stars, so that when it moves, the angle changes, through which they make other calculations. With which the Rashi Mandala and the Nakshatra, right? That is the background with which the moon, the moon moves, the background of the star, that is called the Nakshatra, and the sun moves in the background of the star, that is called the Rashi Mandala. The combination of these things made people to predict eclipses and equinox, and they built temples accordingly. This is we took 2 months to create this Gupta period structure. Next. Most of the mathematics and astronomy you must be knowing the understanding of zero as a mathematical operator. It's not India invented zero, the Indian countries invented zero. It is the idea that we use zero as a mathematical operator, zero into anything becomes zero, and the place value. One of the bhashyas of Patanjali mentions somewhere that Bhashyakara mentions that just like a woman, there is in the rhythm movie, there is a song, right? Comparing women and the river. Yeah, I forgot the song, the lines of the song. But the same thing has been used there, just like a woman, she becomes a mother, wife, and this thing according to her role in the family and society. Same way, the numbers take different values according to the place they were in. If 736, that number is problematic. No? Which number is problematic? So the 6 at the end is just 6, and the 3 before that's not 3, it's 30. So it's the same way how a woman takes role, the numbers could go. We had finer prime units like very minute 0.00003. These are all from much before periods of Aryabhatta. We had Vedanta Jyotisha, Surya Siddhanta. These are living texts. Not somebody wrote it and published, you want to find it. It was not like that. These texts have been edited and re-edited over thousands of years. We have evidences for all of this within the text. Next. One thing I want to say, we can go a lot about all this mathematics and astronomy. We need 6 months to speak just for this. But this is the Murti, this Pala era, or Tripala eras from the 10th century. When Cholas were here in Tamil Nadu, we had Pala kings in Bengal. And when Rajendra Chola, when nobody allowed him to take the Ganga water, and this is the myth, but obviously he had military campaign, he went to the Bengal and he took most of the Murtis, a lot of the exclusive Murtis as war booties, and they are all in Tamil Nadu temples, and obviously we are not going to give them back because they look very beautiful. And how many hands Shiva has over there? 10. Each side, 10. So Leelavati is a text written by Bhaskaracharya II in the 12th century, around probably 100 years after this Murti has been taken to Tamil Nadu. Bhaskaracharya is teaching to his daughter Leelavati because he wanted to write a book about her daughter for some astrological reasons in her daughter's name. So he made a mathematics book, and in that book there is a beautiful shloka. It speaks about the permutations and combinations. See, Shiva has this 10 hands, and in these 10 hands he has 10 different weapons. Okay, so if how many times if Shiva changes all these 10 weapons with this 10 hands, how many number of avatars Mahadeva can take? It's a very nice, beautiful poetry. And how much mathematicians anybody here? It's 10 factorials, 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 into, so it goes 1 lakh something, you make the calculation. That much number of avatars Shambhu can take. That's the reply shloka. As he is asking, and his daughter has replied, that's the way the text has been written. Acharya Parameshwara from the 14th, 15th century is from Kerala. He observed the sky for 55 years. Then he made calculations about 2 solar eclipses that happened in Karnataka. But he wanted to verify it. So he crossed the rivers and he went to Karnataka and he stayed there during the period of eclipse and he verified what his calculations were true. That much dedication, that much passion we had, that much seeking was there back then. Next. You all know about universities. Let's skip the universities. Next. So this is our painting that we made. The Sanchi Monastic University. What we now see is only this structure we see now, but after the excavation shows about if students were there, they need to stay somewhere, the classroom must be somewhere, you need medical facilities, you need dining halls, all of these things are all there. We reconstructed it meticulously from lot of evidences that we can get this Avalokiteshvara Murti from the Sanchi. This is let's say they took some 1,400 years before. Next. Libraries in ancient India, this is from Pushpagiri University, that's in Odisha, this is around 200 years before. This is kind of a Jain structure. Back then, there is no sharp distinction between Hindu, Buddhist, Jain. You had a mix of all of these things. So that's why you also see a Saraswati over there, you also see a Jain monk and Buddhist monk, all of them are sitting and reading together. What other thing can be an example of a secular fabric other than this? Next. Hospitals, next. So this one you must be knowing. What's this? Yeah, don't say Trisha, please. Kundavai, of course. So she is famous for building a lot of Vaishnava temples and renovating Vaishnava temples. And in one such hospital, she has named this on her father's name, Sundara Chola Vinagara, Adula Sale. Adula Sale is the name of hospital. It had beds and it had medicinal gardens, it had nurses. This is like 1,050 years before. Next. Surgical instruments of Acharya these are there. Some you can see in Akshatam as well. Acharya Sushruda's image, you must be knowing this. This is this is a very course in WhatsApp universities. Please upgrade it. It's good. Next. Textiles, that is a piece of textile from 14th, 15th century or even 11th century to 14th century, like 700 years before. The textile has been found from Egypt. The very Indian textile, we have evidences of exporting textiles, and this is from Mohenjo-daro times. We have evidences for that. Block printing, that's there 5,000 years before we still do block printing. Next. This is a company painting in the British India painting. Before the Manchester and other things have been built, basically from dismantling Indian industries. India had such large volumes of industries that cloth nearly half of the world. That's generally you remove the cotton seeds. That was next. Next, it's also a company painting a weaver. It's from 19th century. This one. And this is how our ancestors looked like. This is the replica, this is the reproduction of the images from the based upon the sculpture relief that our team has created. The costumes in ancient India. She had tattoos. If you could see in their face, she had tattoos back then. Next. So trade. We have spoken about the trade. That's how this is an Indus Valley. The town probably Mohenjo-daro. They shipped bales of cotton and fabric across the sea, the Arabian Sea. Next. Evidence of ship from Mohenjo-daro, Harappa. Next. Trade again. Next. People reconstructed it recently to see how the ships were there back then, and they successfully made a trip between one of the Indus city and I need to. We don't have much time to do it. Next. They also had as I said, the bitumen has been covered, clay has been used so the bitumen doesn't melt. And this is a ship from Ajanta paintings. That is Mohenjo-daro, that's bronze age. During the classical time, which is called as early India, we had 3 masted ships. That's how it's the wind power. Next. Can you see the mast over there? Yeah. Next. The Satavahana Kavai, we have evidence of ship over there. That's the interior of a ship. That's how it would look like. That's from a contemporary Roman ship, but also Indian ship also would have there. All the goods have been put inside and the people would sleep over there. It would take 40 days to go from here to there. So if you take up a sadhana and then board your ship back in 2nd century in India, when you get down, you complete your mandala sadhana. Next. The going of Mahendra, the son of Ashoka to Sri Lanka with the Bodhi tree. He also went by ship. Next. There is a text called Characters of the Erythraean Seas by an unknown author that speaks about the trade links and the trade routes. We have extensive evidence of Roman Greek coins everywhere in India. All the trade, everything happened on the favor of India, not the other way around. Rome acquired a lot of loss because Indians didn't feel like getting anything outside. Even today, when our mothers, when they come to the US to stay, they snack and everything. No, nothing like India. I don't like anything. They cannot stay there for a period of time. So they also didn't like all those nice things. Maybe some wine. Imported wine is still a thing in among Indians. The wine probably might be important because we have seen the wine amphorae where the beautiful wine jars have been discovered. Next. The port where Indian ships would land there in Rome would look like this. Next. This is my cover picture as of now. This is for which I am working on. Next. Yes, the Prajnananda as an ancestor is going back to 5,000 years. We have the evidence of dice and chess from Mohenjo-daro cities. Next. Hairstyles and jewelry. Next. We had minute drilling of those beads. Those are very vertical beads. The holes, drill holes are like few millimeters, 2 millimeters or something. We still didn't know how did they do it. Next. Next. That's the hairstyle in ancient India that we have created for the Illustrated India project. Next. These are all from the reference books. Next. Ajanta paintings. These are reproduction of Ajanta paintings. Next. Yoga and spirituality. I think we can skip this because we are already great yogis. Next. That's that moti is sitting in the temple of Kadambhavaneshwar for the past 1,000 years. Next. This is a Namaste poster from Mojdaro. We are doing this for the past 5,000 years. That's a starting question of lot of asanas over there. That is Pashupati. See this we would have known. So he's sitting in Siddhasana probably. Next. This is an inspiration for all of us, all those who are learning yoga. Some yogi attained Mahasamadhi 3,000 years before. Probably there might have been some sort of worshipping structure around it, and people later moved from that also. The image of the yogi sitting in the remains, it is still there, and that has been found in this is from the Indus area itself. Next. Lot of sculptures of yoga. There's a Yoga Narayana from the Gurjara Pratihara era, the top right, top left. Next. 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 So next. 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 I want to show you something. Next. We had temples. One slide. This one. So this one, you know who is this in the right one? Parthasarathi. How old is he? That is the more images. This is a Pallava bronze. At least 1,300 years, he is still in worship. Here, this the skull bronze that is it gets oxidized. Next. No other culture has this 1,400 years image worship. Next. The linga, that Harappa linga, Mohenjo-daro linga is in Delhi Museum now. Personally, in my experience, the Murti is still alive. The entire hall is reverberating because of him. I couldn't come out from the hall. The hall is so filled with this presence. Everybody says the grinding stone, this and that. I mean, if some basic sadhana people would have done and go to that Mohenjo-daro hall and Delhi Museum, they cannot stop wondering. The hands would go down. Your skin would feel his presence. That's evidence of temples from coins from Punjab region 2,000 years before. Next. This is the Gaya temple. They renovated it recently, where next to the Bodhi tree. Next. These are all everybody knows about the Chola marble, all the great Indian sculptural marble. Next, all this in Pandya architecture in the what is it, Trinaveli? You have this, just like in the Indus Valley drill bit where it was, nobody would know. This also nobody knew. Starting the Cholas conquests made the entire Southeast Asia, they very much linked with the Indian civilization, even before that as well. Next. Karikal Ammayar's image. Karikal Ammayar, anybody know? Karikal Ammayar? Okay, those who don't know, please ask your friends. And her image has been found not just in India, it's in Cambodia and Indonesia as well. The fire of Bhakti traveled across India. The Bhakti movement itself is started because of her initiation. And after that, it spread across India, also to Cambodia and Indonesia. Next. We had international, just like we have ISKCON today, we had the earlier versions of ISKCON, we had Greek ambassadors came to India, became devotees of Krishna. He has left a pillar nearly 1,600 years before. That pillar is still there with this inscription. He calls himself as a Bhagavata, a devotee of Krishna. Next. Thank you so much. And this is the greatness of India. These are all out there. There are history scholars out there. People are speaking about it. But somehow it looks that systematically we put away from knowing about our own heritage, and so that we would stop feeling proud about India's cultural heritage. If people are teaching wrong history, that means probably we don't know, but they might have vested interest which is beneficial for them. That means it's a win-loss situation. That means we need to be aware. We don't know what it is. We need to look about it. We need to learn about it. We need to teach to our children to feel proud, and we can build a great India with all of this. Thank you so much. Okay.